Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Hey, you have found our YouTube channel, and you have found one of our FFA editions. Today, I get to speak with a National Proficiency winner from 2019. I will be talking with Mr. Justin Scott, who is coming to us from Ohio, and he's going to be telling us all about his grain production, SAE, his proficiency win, and his hobby, his love of farming, JTS Farm or Agricultural Photography. Really, really cool stuff. Happy that you're here with us, and let's jump into this interview right now. Justin, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Yep, you're welcome.
Well, hey, I have been looking forward to this interview. I'm glad we finally get to connect, and I want to say congratulations to you, National Proficiency winner this year.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we'll talk more about that coming up when we get to your SAE, but that's quite an accomplishment. Are you going to be planning on competing for a National Star Award next year?
No, this year was actually my last year in FFA, so I'm done with FFA. I received my American degree this fall at convention, so I'm now an alumni, I guess you'd say.
All right. Well, congratulations and job well done. Man, what an accomplishment. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, let's do this. I'd love to just take a moment just to introduce you to our audience, let them know who they're listening to. If I could, I'd like to ask you just a few questions about you personally.
Alrighty.
Okay. Well, how old are you now?
I'm currently 19 years old.
Okay. And how is your time occupied? At college, farming, I know you're doing a little bit of both. How's that kind of all shaking out for you?
I am a full-time college student at Kent State University, Tuscarawas, majoring in agricultural business, and I also help my cousin on his 1,200-acre grain farm full-time, and I also help my parents farm, and I also help my grandparents on their dairy farm, so I stay very busy.
Wow, you do sound very busy. So I'm assuming, is your college campus, is it close to home so you're able to do all this?
Yes, it's located 12 minutes away from the farm and 18 minutes away from the house.
Okay, so you've got it down to the minute. And what do you study? Yeah. What are you studying at Kent State?
Agricultural business.
Okay, very good. Well, we'll circle back to that as well. Now, I want to ask you, when did you first get into the FFA?
I started in FFA my freshman year in high school. Is when I started into the program. So. Okay,
and what brought you in? Why did you want to join?
My mom wasn't always an FFA when she was in school, and she was the first girl from our chapter to get her American degree, so that was kind of a thing I wanted to follow in her footsteps. And I've also heard from friends that it's a good program to get into, and we have an awesome program in Indian Valley and an awesome advisor, and we do a lot of cool stuff through it. So I figured it was something I wanted to get into, and I was always involved in agriculture since a young age, and it was kind of just natural for me. So
very cool. So your mom was the first female to receive her American degree?
From Indian Valley.
From Indian Valley. That is awesome. Good for you. And good for her to be that groundbreaker, but for you to follow in those footsteps, I think it's great to have an inspiration coming from right within your own house like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you did that, and then along the way you joined the officer team. You served as a sentinel. What made you want to go to that level and be part of the officer team?
It was just I wanted to be a leader in our local chapter, so I just kind of joined the officer team. It was me and my friends, so maybe we had a fun time, learned a lot, made a lot of good friendships throughout the state of Ohio and our district, and had a very successful couple years as officers and made a lot of chapter accomplishments and
very cool.
Stuff like that. So.
Well, that's great. Well, it sounds like you had a great time, and so you finished it up now. So are you a sophomore in college this year?
Yes, I'm currently a sophomore.
Okay, so with the American degree, with the National Proficiency win, that caps out your FFA career.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, it sounds to me like you accomplished the things that you'd set out to do.
Yes, I did.
Very cool. Well, let's do this. I'd love to acknowledge who your FFA advisors are or who they have been so far. Can you do that for us real quick?
Yes, my FFA advisor is Mr. David Stiles.
Awesome. Well, thank you for acknowledging him. And real quick, everybody, I just want to remind you about a great sponsor of this show, and that is Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment. Of course, they have been just a great supporter of this show and a great supporter of agriculture by sponsoring this show. And if you are going to raise large livestock, in particular cattle, oh my goodness, you are not going to find better equipment than Powder River. They are designed out here in the West with some of the craziest cattle that you are ever going to encounter, and they can handle and control those cows. They can certainly handle and control yours. Everything you need to do to minimize stress and to be able to handle cattle as efficiently and safely as possible can be found at powderriver.com. We hope you'll go over there and let your local farm and ranch retailer know that you'd like them to carry Powder River. All right, Justin, thank you so much for letting me do that real quick.
Anytime.
All right. Well, I'd love to talk about your SAE because I know there's a lot I want to talk to you about today, and so I'm just going to jump right into it. Tell us what you've been doing for your SAE that led to this proficiency award.
My primary SAE consists of working at Everett Grain Farms. It's owned and operated by my cousin, Douglas Everett. We farm about 1,200 acres of corn, soybeans, wheat, and we also grow quite a bit of cover crops, mostly cereal rye. Mm-hmm. I started in the fall of 2015 primarily as a grain cart operator and a general farm laborer, and over time my involvement in the operation as well as my management in the operation has slowly grown. So,
all right. Very cool. Well, that sounds like a large operation. I'm sure you've learned a ton since 2015.
Yes, it's been a very big learning curve and a great experience for me as an individual. So
that's great. Well, I've primarily focused on livestock throughout my agricultural career and education and all that, but I've never had the opportunity to work on a farm of that size and that scale that's row crop based. But what I've read and what I see out there in social media is it seems like everybody kind of starts out in the grain cart area. Am I right about that? Is that kind of like the natural starting point?
Yeah, it's kind of just your boss is always there to supervise because usually an older person's in the combine, so somebody's always there to supervise and help you out. So It's kind of just a natural starting point, and you just go from there. And the next thing you know, you're in tillage implements, and the next thing you know, you're in semis, and then you're in combines yourself, and then you're in planters, and just goes on and on from there. So
okay, well, very good. Well, that makes sense. That there's a natural progression, I guess, of responsibility, and I guess of the price of the equipment you're operating as well.
Yes.
For sure. Now, you named off in the beginning, about 3 different things you're doing. So working on your cousin's farm, and I think you said your grandparents' dairy, is that right?
Yes, I help my grandparents out. I don't help there as much as I do on the grain farm. It's just when they need help, they'll give me a call, and I'll haul silage wagons for them one night or stuff like that. So,
okay.
And I also help my parents out. They farm about 65, 70 acres hay, so I help them out some during summer, baling hay, all small squares. So.
And at this point, have you been able to kind of strike out on your own at all, or do like a crop share with anybody, or is that something you want to do going forward?
Yes, I just currently purchased my first 20 acres of land, which will go into row crops as well as hay this spring. So,
okay,
starting off on my own here next year. So
very cool. And you purchased it, so it belongs to you. Yep. It's not leased.
Nope, it's purchased by me.
Very cool. Well, good for you. And so now you're studying ag business there at Kent State. So what do you want to do with that degree? What kind of path have you kind of laid out in front of yourself?
I mostly want to use that degree just to kind of get a little more of the business feel and the farming side of it. I just want to stay and be involved in production agriculture my whole life. So just want to kind of learn more of the business side of the production agriculture is what my main goal for that degree is. Very cool.
And when you're done, are you looking at getting a job, or are you going to be able to come back and farm full time? What does that look like for you?
I plan to stay involved in my cousin's operation as well as expand on my own acres. So that's kind of my plan as of right now. So.
Okay, awesome. Well, as you've since 2015, since you first climbed in that pulled that grain cart, what's been the most difficult thing or the hardest part of that steep learning curve for you going through?
Mostly adapting to the new technologies used in the grain side industry. Worked on the dairy farm. It was kind of a low-tech farm. They didn't incorporate much technology into operation. Mm-hmm. Going from there, and from my parents' operation to this operation, we use a lot more technology such as GPS, variable rate on our planters, all sorts of precision planting technologies integrated into our planters, stuff like that. So it was just a big learning curve to overcome, going from none of that technology to all of a sudden you're thrown into a tractor with all this technology. You got to learn how to use it. So.
Okay. Now, over this last week, I've actually been interviewing a bunch of agronomists for Pioneer, but over in the Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois area, and they've been telling me about what harvest is looking like over there. How's things looking over on the Ohio side?
We're not too bad here. Most guys in our area have 300-400 acres left. We actually finished up with corn and beans the 28th of October, so we're done, and we're just waiting for maybe it here to freeze up or dry up, put on a little fertilizer here, and I got a couple hundred more acres of fall vertical tillage to get done, and we'll pretty much be wrapped up for the fall, so we're looking pretty good this fall.
Okay. Were you guys able to get your corn dried down to where you wanted it before you took it off the field?
Yeah, we had some corn that came off real nice. We had actually some that came off right around 16%, a couple hundred acres, and we also had some that came off 21, 22, so we were pretty pleased with that this year.
Oh, good. Very good. Well, very cool. I'm excited for you. We haven't even touched on your hobby yet, and we'll get to that in a second, but you obviously love farming, love agriculture.
Yes.
Obviously. And I think your hobby plays right into that, and if your hobby is any testament to how you are as a farmer, you must be one incredible farmer, because I'm looking online right now at your hobby, and you've got an unbelievable talent here. So tell us about what that hobby is, and we'll jump into that for a second.
Well, last fall I purchased a drone, and first day I had it, I flew it just fine. And the next thing things didn't go so well. And I kind of get some nice action shots of the combine. Ended up with the drone in the 40-acre cornfield, so that wasn't a good deal. But I've kind of learned and adapted and learned how to fly drones, and started doing some little bit of photography of drones, and kind of been building on that. And still kind of something to do on the weekend, and just something I really enjoy doing. And nice to see stuff from a different perspective, I guess you'd say.
I'll say I'm looking at your pictures on your Instagram page of all the different farm photographs that you've taken using your drone. And do you take some photographs that are not from the drone as well, or is everything that I'm looking at taken from the drone?
No, I take some from the ground too. I have a couple of professional cameras I use on the ground too, so do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you do some cool stuff. I mean, there's some great photographs on here. I think the one that I'm looking at, I just jumped on the page. The one I'm looking at that I really like the most, it looks like it's a picture of the farm, and it's kind of looking down the long lane that goes past the farm and past the grain bins, and just kind of keeps on going out into the farm, and there's a combine down in there harvesting. It's a really cool photo.
Yeah. There's lots of farms in the area, so there's always plenty of stuff to photograph. The way I look at it. So.
Absolutely. When did you get started doing this?
Actually, last October.
So
was my first run off drones. So.
And were you already photographing with the regular camera prior to buying the drones, or was it the drones that got you into photography?
It was mostly just on my cell phone. I take some pictures, go out tractor, and take some pictures of the combine while I was going past, and just mostly on my cell phone. And I really started in with the drones, and it kind of went from there. So I plan to get certified here with my drone here this winter, so I can do work for other people and get paid for it. So kind of have a little extra hobby money maker there. So
you want to start a little bit of a business with your drone?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Kind of what my plan was here down the road.
So how will you, right now thinking about it, how will you make money with your drone?
Doing aerial mapping for like crop and field health scouting, kind of a big thing in our area. There's some different softwares online you can utilize to do that, and make pretty sophisticated maps where you can look at different variables of the field and stuff like that. Also doing like photography for events and stuff like that. Actually, our local fair used some of my pictures I took of our fair during Fair Week here in September, and that's going to actually go on the county plat book. So that'll something I kind of did there and stuff like that. So
okay, very cool. Well, I really like this aspect of what you're doing, and I love it when I get to speak with somebody who truly loves what they're doing every day. And obviously, since in your free time you're going out and photographing farms, this is what you love to do.
Yep, that's what I like to do.
Oh, very cool. Well, I want to ask you about this, Justin. I mean, it sounds like you've had some opportunities, or you've been taking full advantage of them, and that led you to being a National Proficiency winner. If there's another student out there who's just starting their journey in the FFA and they'd like to kind of follow in your footsteps and get this involved and achieve what you've achieved, how would they get started? What advice would you have for them on getting started?
My advice is to get involved in your local chapter, and I'll kind of go from there. If you want to do like an SAE, get involved with a good local farmer, and they'll kind of help you and guide it through. If you want to do a farm-weight SAE or a local agricultural business, just go up to them, approach them, and tell them what they're doing, and tell them what you want to achieve, and they'll help you get there. And also, don't be afraid to get out and work hard. And harder you work, the more you're going to achieve in life. And also another good thing too is listen to your elders. They're very knowledgeable people because they've been around so long, and they know how to guide you through stuff, and they're a big help in life. So
very good. Well, Justin, thank you so much for this today. I really enjoyed speaking with you and hearing your story.
Yep, anytime.
Thank you for joining me today, everybody. It is always a pleasure to be here with you. Really enjoyed profiling what Justin is doing, and as always, we hope that you'll thank our guests for coming on. Links to contact him will be on the show notes on the website, which is offincome.com. As always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.